Black woman. Beautiful, powerful, resilient female of African descent with skin kissed by the sun. Conversation. A talk, especially an informal one between two or more people in which news and ideas are exchanged. We love being black women. Black women are ambitious. Black women are confident. Black women are diligent. We are tenacious. We walk out of our houses put together. We are many shades and personalities of fabulous. But we as black women don't talk about our dilemmas, current events, and what's going on every day that affects us. So, we created this podcast as a way to laugh together, cry together, and have an open conversation about life as black women.
Oh, that's deep. Black Women Conversations.
Hey, Nicole.
Hey, Janine.
How's your week been?
It's been busy. But apparently 2 of our listeners, shout out to the listeners, reached out and said, I don't know what you're going through, but I've been listening to the podcast and I'm going to be praying for you. So apparently I must be like Debbie Downer in the last couple episodes of the podcast. But y'all, I'm okay. We are okay. We're just busy, right? Like we're just busy, but this is like everyday grind for us. So don't feel bad for us. Don't cry for us. We good, but we appreciate y'all being concerned. So I will say it's just been busy, but life is getting a little bit better. I have a partner that just started this past week, so that's great. That'll be a little bit of relief. And things at work are looking up. So I am excited. I've been doing some traveling for some board meetings over the past week and have another trip coming up this weekend. But you know what? That's just par for the course. So I can't complain. Everything is going like it's supposed to go. Let's say that. How's your week been, Johnny?
It's good. Well, I'm glad that the people are reaching out, praying for you, because at least the people can get a prayer through. But yes, she's good, you all. Let me say this. If it was a huge concern, if it was very concerning to us, we would say, hey guys, we're going to take a little break, and then we would come back and visit. But y'all, I want you to know what Nicole is doing right now. I'm going to make a little detour. I believe that she's taking down her braids. Is that what you're doing?
Listen, I got a hair appointment with my my stylist in Indianapolis because I'll be working up there this week. Shout out to everybody in the Indy area. And I realized my appointment is like Friday at 12:30 and I still got a head full of braids, right? So I made the first cut. And yes, I will be taking out my braids all night long. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is like real black girl world, right? Like I totally knew. I said, there's something that she's doing. I can see it, but it's not really like on camera. Like I can see Nicole's face on the camera, but like I can't really see what she's doing off to the side. And I just saw the little end of a comb and I said, I bet you she's taking out her braids. Y'all, we're real black girls. Like, yeah, hair is important. One of the young ladies that works with me, she said to me the other day, she goes, JBJ, if you could please, I will work a half a day and then I'll be available remotely. And I just, my hairdresser, that's the only time she can get me in. I said, girl, no worries. I said, if I need you, we will call, but you don't have to work a half a day. Go get your hair done, girl. Like, don't stress yourself out. I understand. We cannot perform at our maximum capacity without our hair looking fabulous. So I totally get it. Okay. How was my week? My week was busy as well. Been doing a lot of like community service. And I hate to call it community service because it's not really that. Like, I've been doing a lot of community engagement because I feel like the term community service makes it feel like charity work, and that's not really what it is. I will say this. There's a group of young ladies that I work with at 2 different organizations that I work with, and I will say that they are so inspiring. And, people always say that like, oh yeah, the kids are so inspiring. That's not what I mean. Like, I'm not saying this because I think that it's the right thing to say or think that that's what you're supposed to like get out of this, but really inspiring because I you and I sit on this podcast and in life, and we complain about little things, right? Like what we consider, first world problems, right? And things that I'm like, oh, this sucks. It's annoying. But like life is generally great, right? Like, that there are some down parts of life, but life is generally great, right? These girls are so optimistic in spite of all of the like adversity that they face in such young ages that like it really makes me second guess when I complain about silly stuff, right? Like it's they're just amazing. Like there's one young lady that I was talking to today, and she was telling me, she was like, "Look, I'm confident." She was like, "My greatest asset is my confidence." And I was like, "I like that." And she was like, "No, but really." And she was like, "But I don't always have the confidence." She was like, "But then I have to remind myself of like, look, nobody else can be me. So I got to be the best at it." And I was like, that's a really good way of thinking about it. And I was just like, oh, kids are so amazing. I love working with the kids.
How
As
old
long
are
as I
these?
don't have to take them home.
How old are these said kids? Because that is amazing.
I don't know how old she is, but I do know that she's in middle school. I don't
Oh
know
wow,
her
she is
exact
a kid.
age.
Okay,
Yeah, she's a
okay.
child, like
Yeah, yeah.
a kid. Yeah. So yeah, I was like, wow. Like if we could only have that same level of like confidence. Like I know it's not always gonna like I'm not always gonna be confident. She was like, but then I think like nobody else is gonna be great at being me, so I have to be great at being me. And I was like, that's like a real thing. Like
That's a real thing. Yeah.
it really is. So shout out to the young ladies in the DMV. And I just like I think that we should all do a lot more, like just reaching out to the younger people, right? Because the world is very different, and I hate to sound like an old lady, but like the world is very, very different than it was when I was her age. I mean, very different. I feel like it's more different for me when I was her age than it was for between my parents' generation and my generation. Like the world didn't change as much. The world has changed drastically since then.
I mean, my mama went to a segregated high school.
Yeah, but see, my mama didn't, right? So, like, I don't know. I guess maybe it depends on where you were. But I will say that when my mom was in high school, the school that I went to wasn't integrated. And it was integrated the year that I was born. But I feel like, Nicole, the world of like, think about everything that's happened in this world since we were in like, what's middle school, like seventh, eighth grade. Think about everything that has happened. We've had 9/11. We've had Hurricane Katrina. We've had a global pandemic. Like the world is very different. I mean, when we were in that, there was no social media back then.
There wasn't, but there was a lot going on. I mean, I think that, I mean, you keep on living and just life be life. And it's just that now we can document all of it. And so you're talking about pre-age of documentation and just believing what folks tell you, and
That's true.
post-age of like media and documentation. And now you can like bring receipts. So, I mean, that is definitely different. But I do think like I'm really glad I was not born when my mama was born. Like I'm glad that I didn't have to deal with those type of struggles in terms of, I mean, we still have a long way to go with like racism and discrimination and injustice, but the stuff that they put up with that was the norm, that they just let go because it was the norm. I'm glad we don't have to deal with that. Like I
Yeah.
wouldn't have done well with that. Mm-mm.
You and me
No.
both. I used to tell my grandfather I was because his mom, I believe, was an indentured servant at some point. And he said, like, yeah, we grew up in basically like a shack that was in the back of some, white family's home. And I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, but granddaddy, I wouldn't have been good at this. And I wouldn't. Like, I would have been, let me tell y'all, if Janine were enslaved, I'm going to be the first one to get killed. I promise you I will be, because I'm going to be the one that asks all the questions, and I'm going to not be cooperative. And it's just certain, like, and I really ask myself, am I like this because of when I was born, or am I just like this because I would have just been a fiery individual regardless of when I was born? I just can't fade. Like, I can't see it. I cannot see being born in it. to your point, not even segregated times. I can't see it. There's no way. I'm not good at that.
We all assimilate, right? We say that all the time, but like our kids are going to be looking at us as we were the first Black people to do X or the first Black people to do Z, and they're going to be like, "Oh, I could have never." But we all assimilate a little bit, right? It's just the world in which we live in. Because we look at people that, like, we look at the slavery moves, like, we look at Roots and we're like, we would never. Well, what else? What other choice did you have? Like, you have to look at the
Go to be with Jesus.
Yeah, no. Everybody not gonna pull a Nat Turner. Everybody not gonna do that. You know.
I understand. It just seems so difficult to fathom. But I also, to your point, I also don't know that I would be okay if I were raised now, right? Like, I don't know what it would be like to be raised with social media, and every single thing that you do of every moment of your life and every bad decision that you've ever made is documented, right? Like,
yeah.
now we are at an age where we kind of grew up as the documentation was coming. So we kind of learned how to be aware of said documentation. But even some of us have difficulties with it, right? Like, there's been this transition where people realize, like, now there's a camera everywhere and you can't just, like, it's accountability beyond yourself, right? Before it was, if nobody sees it, like, there were, as we put it, closeted racists, closeted bigots, closeted misogynists. But then everything started to be put on Front Street because everyone has a camera and a video camera at the tip of their fingers. So you can't be a closeted anything, because the moment that someone thinks that you're doing something that's inappropriate, they're pressing record. It's crazy. I'll give you an example. I went to an event the other night, Nicole, and at the event, some young ladies got into it. It was a scuffle. And legit, the scuffle took place, and before, like, everything had settled and, like, the seats were wiped up and, like, all of that, a young lady tapped me on my shoulder and she was like, "Turn on your AirDrop. I'll send you the video." And I was like,
What?
"Wait, what?" And she sent the video. I mean, it was just that quick of, "Oh my goodness, this is happening," to, "Oh wait, here's the video of what just happened." And while you're happy for it, if you're, like, in a situation and you need someone to say, like, "No, that's not really what happened. This is what happened," it benefits you in that manner. It also is a little detrimental because you don't have that same distance and space and boundary that we had when we grew up. They don't have that. These kids literally are being raised on camera.
And did they just say, I mean, do you know the person that's like, "Turn on your AirDrop"?
No.
Dang.
Not at all. Mm-mm.
I mean, that's crazy that she just AirDrop into whomever.
Mm-hmm.
And what kind of events did you go to that you saw such scandalous stuff?
The crazy part is the event was for our good old Black professionals. And what I will say this is what happened. And let me clarify. The event was great. That's why I didn't mention what the name of the event was. So the event was great. That wasn't the issue. There was a young lady who was a little overly intoxicated, and she was requesting more alcohol, and that did not happen. And subsequently, she thought that it was a great idea to spit on someone. Now, I don't know about you, Nicole, but there's a couple things in life that I don't tolerate, and you will pull me out of my character if they happen. And spitting on me is one of them. Now, while I was not the person that got spit on, I was standing next to the person that got spit on, and I mean, I can't blame anyone, because I don't know that my natural reaction would not have been exactly the same. So that's what happened.
That's just nasty on a lot of levels. Like, well, how unladylike is that? That's just so nasty. If you spit on somebody, you are just looking to get your tail whooped. That's all.
Absolutely. I mean, really, don't try me, because there are not a lot of things that I would lose freedom for. But spitting, it just has a different level of disrespect that you really just getting whatever it is that you deserve. Honestly, that's how I feel.
I've never in my wildest mind thought, "I'm going to spit on her if she gets close." I've never thought of that.
Nicole, I'm not going to tell the good people how I almost went to jail one time, but I will say this. When I was in my mid to late 20s, I used to work clubs. I worked at a radio station, and one of our DJs was like huge into the clubs, and God rest his soul. And I worked the door for him, right? And I make a long story short, I would work the door Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and it was well worth it because I was, a fledgling adult at that point, right? And one young lady came into the club one night and she didn't have any money to get in. And, typically, if this is not your first time not having any money to get in and you're a regular, I would, look out for you. Tell me what you have. I'll make it work, right? But she just came at me like, I'm not paying, I'm coming in, blah, 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 blah. All the things that people say when they've had a little too much to drink and they, feel entitled. So the young lady came in and she said she's coming in. And I was like, no, ma'am. So the security, so they grabbed her and said, ma'am, you can't come in. And she turned around and looked at me and said, tell them that I can come in. And I was like, I can't tell them that. And before, I literally closed my eyes for a hot second. And before I could get them back open, there was spit on my forehead. I did not work there much longer. I will tell you that much.
Like that was going to get her in. I'm confused. If you don't have the money, go home. It's free to stay home. Straight free.
How y'all been? Thanks for praying for us. Well, praying for Nicole. I hope you're praying for me too.
They praying for you too, girls. So how's y'all's week been? How's your week been? Have you been liking all of our comments or commenting and liking our stuff and sharing us with your friends? We hope that you have. And what are you guys doing for Thanksgiving? Let us know about that too.
Yes, I am on rib cooking duty. Hey, Aunt Bev. She asked me what I wanted to bring, and my husband suggested ribs. I think it was a bit self-serving of a suggestion, but at some point between now and next week, Janine will be cleaning and cook the ribs for Thanksgiving. And for those who say that ribs is not a Thanksgiving food, let me be very clear. At this point, whatever gets onto the table for Thanksgiving, that's what's the Thanksgiving food. Okay, y'all? Tell us what y'all eat for Thanksgiving. We want to know. But don't judge when other people eat things other than everybody don't like turkey. I'm not saying I don't. I do eat turkey. But Thanksgiving turkey is very interesting. And really what I'm looking forward to is not the Thanksgiving turkey the day of Thanksgiving. It's the turkey and then the cranberry sauce and then the stuffing in some bread with a little mayo. Make yourself a little aioli sauce and give you a good Thanksgiving sandwich. That's the best part of Thanksgiving, just so y'all know.
Well, listen, we're going to a restaurant for Thanksgiving this year, but we're gonna keep on moving past this topic because we can sit here and talk forever and not get to our timeline at all. So, Janine, tell the people what's on our timeline this week. It's juicy, y'all. Ooh.
Okay, ladies. No pun intended. The fact that Nicole said it's juicy. Ladies, we have a real conversation. And this conversation, we have to have it with ourselves because we have to be self-reflective really quickly because the people are outside calling us out. And they are calling us out in this discourse about, I think it started on X. Let me try to give credit. I think the discourse started on X and I think maybe it moved to IG. I don't know where it is. TikTok, whatever. It's on social media. And we're kind of out here getting a bad rap. So ladies, we're going to chat about this and we're going to be self-reflective and we are going to be honest with ourselves. And this is what our dialogue is going to be about. It started off almost about a year ago. I'm sure that the dialogue probably was before that, but it popped up on our timelines about a year ago. And it was from a young man named Ajebu. Well, he goes by Ajebu Danny, right? And Ajebu, and I'm pretty sure that I'm pronouncing it incorrectly. I was curious what it meant, and it means they say that it's a Nigerian slang that basically means born with a silver spoon in your mouth or like bougie. So we just going to call him Danny. Well, the post from Danny that was last year says, and this is quote, the word cat is being replaced by what the actual thing says. So it says, when he's generous, cat. When he's intentional, cat. When he reassures you, cat. When he communicates, cat. On his birthday, cat. On your birthday, cat. Then he says, you people don't have anything else to offer? And by you people, ladies, he's referring to us. Let's go on. So just a few days ago, Bree on social media, and she goes by the real PG 111, and she tweeted, or she messaged on X, I don't know what they're called now, and she says, treat me like a princess and I'm gonna get you blank so good. And not only did she make Danny's post resurface, but she created a whole new discussion of this conversation about giving up the cat as a reward. So people had questions to her comment, right? And let's revisit her comment. She said, treat me like a princess and I'm going to get you blank so good. So people had questions. Some said, so a man spoils you like a princess and all he gets in return is cat? And then some people said, some women's exchange is mad, which I agree. Like the exchange for whatever it is that he's doing for you is we're giving cat, but we're not going to talk about Janine's opinion right now. Some men were saying they're tired of this return on investment. Some men were saying offer something else. Some said treat him to something nice, please. And they said, if he's a king, treat him like one. Some men even said, I weep for you. Like they pity her. And then they said, they can get cat from anywhere, literally anywhere. So in our defense, ladies, some ladies stepped into the conversation and said, well, that's her. That's not all of us. So we understand that. Also, some people agreed. And they really kind of checked her and, ladies that offer cat as a reward because, sometimes we really do walk around like we're sitting on a gold mine, which we are. But if you keep walking around giving out little pieces of gold to everyone as a reward, then how is this really a gold mine? So a couple of things. One, as I said, we all are sitting on a gold mine. Take a look around. We come in all shapes, sizes, colors. Like we got it, right? You can't just keep dishing out said gold because it will decrease in value. I mean, not for nothing, but this is kind of basic like supply and demand. Black ladies, like, I'm going to speak to just y'all for a second, right? There's nothing that's as unique as a Black woman, right? It doesn't exist. And we've been through so much. I get it. But we're strong and tenacious. And I get that, we don't want to always be seen strong and tenacious. But I want us to remember that we don't have to be so complex that the only thing that we have to give our man or partner is cat. We have other things to offer. It's not always work. Think about it for a second. Stop handing it out to everyone. It really isn't a reward if everyone gets a trophy. It's not. It's just thank you for participating. And like the men said, they can get cat anywhere. Literally anywhere. So, yeah, maybe we should stop handing it out. Not to be super religious on you, but how about we stop handing out the cat to everyone? Man, woman, boy, girl. Until someone makes an honest woman out of you. Just suggesting, because, just a thought. And then my other thing is, ladies, I think we've gotten to this point where the internet has told us that sex sells, right? And men will sit and admire on social media all of the things that they see that are visually appealing. But don't let the internet fool you. Because these men will be out here playing with everything that they see, BBLs, bodies that look like they're too good to be true. And not saying that they're not going to accept the cat from them, because I don't really know too many men that turn down the cat. When they come home, is that really what they want? I'm just saying. Maybe it's me, Nicole. I don't know. I see, we are out here thinking that these men are out here snapping pictures and taking videos at the strip club with handfuls of cheeks. I think that we've led ourselves to believe that that's what that's what they want. That's all they're looking for. And I don't know. Maybe I'm old. I don't think that that's it. I mean, considering the X thread and how it spilled over into all of the other social medias, I have a sneaking suspicion that men would like to have something other than, you know, just some casual sex that's available to them whenever they supposedly are doing something good. I don't know. I think that maybe as women, we need to like sit and recalibrate, especially as Black women. I get having like soft life, but it doesn't mean laying on your back to get through life. I don't think that that's exactly what that means. I get, being pampered and being a princess and being treated well, but like you got to bring something to the table too. I don't know. You can't make your partner slave over you and think that it's amazing and then the only thing that they're getting in return is something they can get everywhere else. What do you think, Nicole?
So, initially when you brought this, when you said, "Oh, this is what's on our timeline," I thought, "Oh, I do not want to talk about that," right? Because I feel like it's a topic that, you know, now men are like pissed off because they're getting rewarded with the P or with the cat, as you say. And my thing is, even like in the 2000s, like that was a treat. And I think that because of, and to your point during our discussion earlier, times have changed so much, and now you're in a society where everything is just like you click it, you see it, and it's now a social norm just to see people naked and to watch porn and to have an OnlyFans page and to be able to pay $2.99 to view whatever you want to view is like a real thing. And so now the prized possession of a woman and what we embody and the things that we bring to the table, which is the cat, is now like not enough. Since when? There's people whose grandmas that got their whole rent paid, all their bills paid because of the cat. So now all of a sudden it's not good enough? What? People want to, men have these like unrealistic expectation of women. Like on one hand, they're like, "Oh, we want a woman that is submissive and we want to be a man and we want her to allow us to be a man and we want you to act like a woman. But we also want you to pay half the bills. We want you to work full time. We want you to birth all these babies and we want you to take care of the babies and we want you to rub our back and make us feel good when we get home." Like, why do we have to bring like 2/3 of everything to the table to your 1/3? Like, I don't understand it. It used to be where men were the providers and women were the nurturers, but now we have to be half the providers and the full-time nurturer. Like, I don't understand that. So when you say that's all she has to bring is the cat, well, yeah, and everything else is extra. And I think that women, if they stop to think about the prize and the gold mine that is between their legs, they will know, hey, this thing has persuasion beyond measure, and we all need to be selective. So if we all stick together and we're selective with our vaginas and we make people work for it, then people won't be out here like, that's it, that's all you got, that's it, that's all you got. That is like the ultimate prize. Like, I'm giving pieces of myself up. I'm giving you a piece of me. And that should be the ultimate prize. And now it's being watered down and belittled as if it's not something that is to be, worked for. Like, it's not something that should be taken of honor. It's not something that is considered a privilege to have. Like, this is not just like some French fries from McDonald's. Like, oh, that's all you guys, this Happy Meal. This is me. Like, this is me. I am the prize. I am the ultimate prize. And the list that he gave is not even reason enough for the prize, right? Like, you should have to do way more than tell me I'm pretty for the prize, right? But nowadays, all you do have to do is tell somebody they're pretty and take them to Burger King, and now all of a sudden they get the prize. Like, we have to start standing our ground, being more selective with the vagina, okay, so that men can then look at you, look at us as if we and all of our parts are the prize. So that sort of kind of pissed me off. And this is as somebody, because I can tell you, I bring a lot to the table, honey. I'm bringing the tablecloth, the chairs around the table, and some of the settings. Okay, so I can carry my own. I bring what I need to bring to the table to those who are worthy at sitting at it. Okay, so I'm not some superficial chick that's not gonna pull my weight, but at the same time, I recognize what I have in just being me, in just le vagina. Okay, not all the education and the dollars and all this charm I bring with me, but just that by itself should be enough. And everything else is extra. That's a treat for you. The traveling that you get to do with me, that's a treat. The nice Gucci I'm gonna buy you, that's a treat. Like, all the other stuff is a treat. Okay, yes, I'm gonna treat you like a king, but that's a treat, because me just being nice and allowing you to be a part of me should be prize enough.
Do you need some water? Because you preach to the people.
I sure did, because I'm tired of these men. And listen, I'm a Southern belle. I'm Southern. Okay. I am all about chivalry, and I don't think it should be dead. And I'm going to play my role. You're going to take out the trash. I'm going to make sure you fed, right? That is me. I know I play gender roles. I am about that. I am all about that. And I am still a working woman that makes probably more money than anybody I'm going to date, right? Just throwing it out there. But at the same time, men have to realize that there is treasure in just being a woman. And the social media have people out here thinking like, that's it? What? I mean, I really do take offense to that. I take offense to that as not even somebody superficial, because I'm not. I'm as deep as they come. But if a man can't appreciate the femininity of a woman and what we bring by allowing you to become a part of us, I have a real problem with that. Because then you want me, that's it. You want me to do things you want to do. And then you want to get mad at me when I want to make the decisions and say I'm not submissive. You can't, this is not Burger King. You can't have it your way. Okay. You got to pick one, pick a side. All right. And it seems like people want their cake and eat it too. You can't have it all your way. So I'm going to get off that. I'm going to get off that and move on. But yeah, they rub me the wrong way with this one.
I know, but I would also like to point out that there are a subset of women out here giving us a terrible name because all they bring to the table is the cat. And for you, Nicole, I think that you're referring to somebody that you're in a relationship with, but it seems based on the conversation that we're not talking relationship. We talking, oh, you bought me a pair of sneakers, cat, right? And it's like, y'all, let's stop, because now, to Nicole's point, you have devalued the cat for sneakers. What happened to the cat and popping out the babies to get your bills paid, and you making sure that the dinner's on the table because he's going out working and you get to sit at home and be a stay-at-home mom, right? That's a different level of I respect my cat, right? So I'm saying, and I'm not telling people what to do. I don't monitor anybody's vagina, nor do I monitor their uterus, because it's not mine. So I don't monitor it. For those people who might be listening that monitor people's vaginas that don't belong to them. Okay, I digress. But I don't monitor people's vagina. But what y'all are doing is making it difficult for the rest of us. We don't want to hand out the cookies to everybody. This ain't the Girl Scouts. That's not what we're doing. We want to hold some cookies for ourselves, because now look at what the internet is saying. The men are on here talking about the cat is just something they can get anywhere. Why is that okay? We old, Nicole. I'm convinced we're old. Y'all, bring something to the table. If you're Nicole, bring the table, the chairs, the place settings, and put the food on it. Other than your cat. That's all I'm saying. Just bring something other than the cat. Compassion, care, support, love, something. These men are out here asking for something else other than the cat. Who would have thought there would be a day? Who would have thought?
All right, Janine, you ready to read through some of these letters?
Let's do it.
All right, so this first letter from Ashley, she says, and it's short, Nicole and Janine, I feel like my husband gives the D out sparingly. He used to say I was stingy with my lady parts, but every time I did give it to him, I put it on him. Now we have 2 kids and I'm a stay-at-home wife. My husband is always so tired. So now I find myself almost begging for the D. When I give him a massage, I get the D. When I pop up to take him to lunch, I get lunch D. When we go on vacation, I get the D. He used to buy me gifts and flowers to get to my lady parts, but now it's like I'm only being rewarded with the D. And these times are sparing. I want regular D and more control over our sex life. I'm starting to believe there might be someone else because I feel like he's rationing the D. What do you think? How did I go from being the person who was selective to now being the person who's getting the quote D end quote for rewards? Ashley.
Hey, Ashley, we don't know how old you are, but I will say this. There are a couple of things that affect getting the D, right? Now, I'm not saying don't go doing some investigation to make sure that your man's not cheating. Girl, if you think that he's cheating, go, you know how we do. You can figure it out. Don't even waste your time or energy about trying to determine what it is. If you think that it's cheating, you know that it's cheating, right? And if you know exactly how to go about the steps to find out what it is that you're looking for. And when you find it, then you nail his behind and say, hey, I know you're cheating. Cut it out. Y'all been together for a while, so I'm not going to say get a divorce. Now, if he wants to be a serial cheater, then we have another problem. But tell him cut it out. But I don't think that that's what this is. This sounds like y'all been together. You've probably fallen into a routine. Life is probably lifing. And you probably are consistent and comfortable. You know, there are these points in our relationships where you kind of have to do a check-in, right? You need to do a check-in because it becomes comfortable. It becomes routine. And it's muscle memory at that point, right? It's not about him saying, oh my God, like this is what I want. Because you all are older. You're not like, thirsty for it. You're just like, oh, okay, you love each other, enjoy each other's company. And yeah, the sex is great, but you don't have to do it all the time, right? That's typically what happens. The thing that I think that this is, if I had to make an educated opinion on what you wrote us, I'm thinking that this is just routine. Y'all just need a little check, a little boost, a little revitalization. And it probably can get back to where it is. Have you had this conversation with your husband? He might not know that you feel like he's rationing it out. He might think he's being respectful. He might think that he's hardworking. He might think that, this is just the routine that you all have gotten into. You need to let him know that you want the D for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That's what you tell him. And tell him why. Now, if he's hesitant when you say that, again, don't know how old you are, ma'am, there's a such thing as you get older, there's not as frequent or as long lasting of performance time for men. So I will say this. Unless he is actively working on that, it's likely that his libido has dropped. So he probably isn't thinking about having sex all of the time. And if you're not telling him that you would like to have sex, it's probably not top of mind for him. I know that we think that all men just walk around with sex on their mind 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, but we all know that that's not true. Ashley, you're going to have a conversation with your husband. It's going to be an awkward conversation, but you have the conversation. Hey, hon, what's going on? Now, back to my original point. If you think he's cheating, it's likely he is. You'll find the details. Don't even worry about anything else I said. But if you don't think that he's cheating, which I don't think that your husband is cheating, what I think is that y'all just in that little, mid-relationship hump. You just need a little invigoration right there. What do you think, Nicole?
Listen, she popping up at lunch and getting lunch D. He ain't cheating. You popping up unannounced. When you say pop up, to me, that means you ain't telling nobody. You just showed up. Y'all going to lunch and getting it in the car somewhere? Yeah, ain't no way he's cheating. Ain't no way. Now, what you probably have is a dude that's probably overworked and he may be tired. And you may have to do things like, babe, you know, you might have to do some things to spice it up. Maybe, take an outing. You say you get vacation, D. Maybe y'all need to take more vacations. Maybe you need to have more outings and intentional date nights and have somebody else watch the kids while y'all go on a date night. I mean, you as the manager of the house, okay, have to manage that thing. Hey, we're going to go on a date Saturday. Where do you want to go? I'm planning this time. Let's take turns planning our next outing, okay? Give you guys something to get excited to look forward to, okay, on a regular basis. I'm not saying it has to be once a week or even once every other week, but it does need to be regular and it needs to be something without your kids. Now, you also have to be realistic. I don't know how old your children are, but if he's working, depending on what he does, most people are tired when they get home from work. And if your kids are school age, you have more of a lull during the day. You have some relaxation time during the day. I'm not saying you're not doing nothing, but I'm saying that you have time to watch TV while you folding clothes. Take a nap if you want to. Go run errands if you want to until those kids come home. So depending on how old your kids are, you might have more free time than, than your husband has, obviously, if he's going to work. And I don't know if he's working from home. I don't know if he's an entrepreneur. I don't know what he does, if it's outside the house or not. But if he is the person that's paying the bills, you got to give him a little bit of grace on that. But I do agree with Janine. Listen, we got to learn how to open our mouths and communicate. And don't say, hey, can I talk to you when you get home? Men don't like that. They don't want to. No, don't prep him. Can I talk to you? Or we need to have a conversation. Then they're worried all day, like, what she want to talk about? What I do? Let me think about what. No, when y'all are laying at home in the bed watching TV and you start sweet talking like us women can do, after you've gotten you some, then say, babe, we need to have sex more regularly. Like, that's the time to bring that up, right? Just bring up how good it was and how you want to have sex more regularly, okay? Then watch him change, okay? But you also have to not be that person that's like, I'm going to just sit and wait if he going to initiate. No. If you know he's really not cheating, you've done your due diligence, you're popping up at work and getting lunch D, then you know that he's probably tired. Rub his back, give him a massage. Everything in terms of intimacy doesn't have to be about sex. But if it turns into sex, great. But do let him know, I'm lacking in this department. You also have to realize, women, we hit that age 40 and we're around a sexual peak. Men sort of decline around that time, okay? So you got to give him a little bit of grace, work with him, okay? He may not be as perked up as he was 5-10 years ago. You're going to have to work with it. Put some action into it. This is your husband. This isn't your blow Joe on the corner. This is your whole husband, okay? Talk to your whole husband. Butter him up. Then get you some. And then remind him how good it was so that you can get you some more. But again, if he's tired, you got to give him grace. Don't nobody want to work 10 hours a day and then really have to give you D every day. Come on. Got to give him a little bit of grace. So that's my word of advice. Plan some outings together. Be intentional with it. Spice it up so he knows that you want some. And then afterwards, tell him how good it was and let him know that you want some more regularly. Closed mouths don't get fed. This is your husband. This ain't begging. This is your husband. Now, if you got a husband that's not touching you, okay, you're not getting lunch D. So if you're listening to this, ladies, and you're not getting no lunch D, okay, you're not getting the D on vacation. You go all the way to paradise and don't get no D. There's a deeper problem there, okay? There's a much deeper problem there. And I don't know if the problem is that you're dealing with somebody that may have real issues with libido, real issues with you and not being attracted to you, or he may not be attracted to women. I don't know. But if you're going on vacation and you're not on your cycle and you don't get no D, there's a problem. Figure that part out. But you getting lunch D, you don't have that problem.
This one says, Nicole and Janine, I feel a bit down on myself right now. My husband and I met in college, and we've been married for 20 years. The entire time that we've been married, I haven't worked as my husband decided that I would stay at home and raise our 5 girls. My girls have since all grown up and gone off to college, and now I'm sitting at home absolutely bored. I want to go back to work, but I have no work history. My husband said I should just continue to stay home, but I almost feel useless. I'm no longer taking care of the kids, and I'm tired of receiving allowance from my husband. For once, I'd like to be able to do something nice for my husband, like take him on a vacation or buy him a nice gift. Offer him something other than the cat. My husband says that I offer him so much more, like peace and tranquility, but I feel like I would like to contribute financially. My friends say that I'm crazy, but I know how I feel. Am I just going through a phase, and should I leave well enough alone, or should I go out and try to create my own? Signed, Sharonda.
Sharonda, you crazy girl. Listen, if that man is saying he's acknowledging what you offer. You offer tranquility. You offer peace. You are his confidant. You are his everything. Y'all are a team. You can plan a vacation. It's called go in the bank account, move some money around and plan the vacation. Your money is his money. And he's not allotting you an allowance. That's called a budget. He has a budget to spend. You have a budget to spend. And the rest goes to bills. Stop being so sensitive. You know that women wish they had a man that would let them sit at home after the kids are done and out of the house. We all do. I'm sitting here thinking about that now. Like, I wish somebody would tell me that all I have to do is rub his back and give him a massage when he get home, and he rub my feet too. Girl, bye. We think it too hard. Let the gender roles stay. Plus, I don't know how old you are, but you have 5 kids, so I'm assuming you're somewhere around 50. If you got 5 kids that you've gotten out of the house, right? Or at least 40, right? If you've had them back to back. So let me ask you this, and I'm not being funny, because I think that people can go back and start second careers and even third careers later in age. But if you have no education at all, what do you want to do? Are you talking about going back to college, a 4-year college with this 4-year degree and starting a whole new career? Or are you talking about getting a part-time job? Like, what exactly are you trying to do? Because if you're 50 and you go back to school 4 more years, that's 54. Then after that, so from 54 to retirement age 65 and 67 now, I guess, are you really going to want to work full time then? I'm just asking, because I want you to put it into perspective. And I'm not saying this as somebody that can't go back to school, because I think people can go back to school. I think that people can start working, but I think you need to be realistic about your goals, because at this point, you're going to be joining the workforce with people that are very young, and you're going to be in school with people that are very young. Now, people, again, do online courses and all kinds of things, but you need to be focused. It's not like, I just want to be able to plan vacations every once in a while. No, if you're going to work, you're going to be going to work, and that's okay if that's what you want to do. But what you don't want to do is go to work and realize, I don't even have to work. Why am I doing this? And then resent going to work. Now, if you do that, you just quit, right? But then you got your husband thinking, why did she even go to work to then just quit? So just know what you want to do. But you're not going to have as much free time if you do decide to go back and start a career at this point in your life. And most people would kill to have somebody that is supportive in us staying home. And I know people are like, well, you got to protect yourself. What happens if y'all get a divorce? If y'all get a divorce, you're not working, he paying alimony. And it don't matter what state it is, he paying alimony. Duh. But when you get a job, that changes the thing. Now you're working outside the home. Now you can support yourself. Now you may get less alimony. I'm not saying y'all are going to get divorced, because it sounds like this is a good man. He thinks that you're his world. But I'm just saying, what is your real reason for all of a sudden wanting to contribute financially if you don't need to contribute financially? Y'all are one unit, and you need to think of yourselves as such. His money is your money, and you bring something to the table by supporting him in his efforts. Okay. But I'm all about women being independent. But I want you to make sure that you're doing it for the right reasons, not just because you want to pay for him a gift or a vacation every now and then. Get your money out the joint account and budget y'all's money, and you can make that happen without having to go back to school or go back to work. Just saying.
Nicole, I agree with you. Sharonda, I was taught by women that are very much wiser than me, aka my mama and my grandmama. And they said that you always have a little nest egg to the side. Now, girl, I know good and well that whatever allowances that you're getting, I would hope and pray that you're stashing some away. To Nicole's point, why do we want to do this at this age? Your husband is literally telling you that you should just stay at home. Now, if you are bored, because it sounds like you're just bored, it sounds like you're used to being busy. You had 5 girls, you have a husband. It sounds like you're used to doing a lot, right? If that is the case, I suggest picking up a hobby. Learn how to skate. Go take crafting. Do something that you might learn how to horseback ride. If we want to go learn how to do something, learn how to do something that is going to bring you peace and serenity and be something that is fulfilling. Clearly, unless your husband is very good at scamming, which I'm hoping that he isn't, for 20 years, he's been taking care of a household with 6 women and himself in it. And you just said that all 5 of your girls are now off in college. It does not sound like you all are strapped for cash. It sounds like you have a very peaceful household that most would dream of. A husband who wants you to just keep the home, right? Raise your kids. Your kids are out of the house. They're grown. You did your job. He's saying, congratulations. Now enjoy yourself. Girl, don't look a gift horse in the mouth. This is your man. He is literally saying, you're giving me what I'm asking for. I don't need you to go to work. If you want to have a hobby, find a hobby. But girl, don't the workforce is out here. It's not the best. And girl, do you know how many people would love to be in your shoes? Do you know how many people? We're going to take a poll. How many people would love for their man to say that they can sit at home and their man has the finances to be able to not only take care of their home, but also put 5 girls through college? Yo, what? Maybe it's me. I mean, Sharonda, I understand your concern. You should always want to have your own, right? But y'all been married for 20 years. You've been married for 20 years. What's yours is his, and what's his is yours. Y'all are one, girl. Ain't no divorcing out of this. You divorce, I come with. I mean, really. You know, this is the point where you get a divorce after you have been not working, to Nicole's point, for 20 years, and you get a divorce. We're not wishing a divorce upon you, but you get a divorce. Girl, it's cheaper to keep you. Trust me. You're fine. We promise. You'll be okay. Please find a hobby and stop trying to get into this dismal workforce that we are all trying to get out of. Please don't do that.
All right, Janine. So, what did you learn new this week?
Okay, so from marriage.com, this comes the things that women should do for their men from the men. So it says they should buy them gifts. Okay, so guys like gifts. They should praise him. They said they should know what is important to him. They should treat him with love and care. They should respect him, and they should listen to him. So, ladies, it's not always about the money or the job. There are some things that men want that we can provide. That's not the cat. Okay? Okay, honeys, please stop handing out the cat all willy-nilly. Just please. Just stop. Keep some cookies in the jar. What did you learn new this week, Nicole?
So, I learned from the Journal of Sex and Marital Therapy. There was an article published in 2018 called Women's Attributions Regarding Why They Have Difficulty Reaching an Orgasm. And it stated that approximately 40% of women do not have enjoyable sex. So maybe, Janine, that's why it's the prize for them. Because it was like, we doing it for you. We ain't doing it for us. But that's a sad reality, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm not doing nothing more than once that I don't enjoy. I'm just going to say that. Just putting it out there. If I don't enjoy it, I'm not going back for seconds. You don't go back for seconds of liver, do you? No? Okay, I thought so.
All right, Janine, are you ready for the motivational moment?
Let's do it.
So your motivational moment, it's from me. And I said, ladies, go ahead, use your femininity to your advantage, but don't use it as your only weapon. Sometimes you might have to remind him of how intelligent you are, how creative you are, and motivating you are. Show that you are the absolute prize. All that you are and all that you've accomplished prove that you bring more to the table than merely the cat. Until we meet again.
Pray, work, slay.
And show off your melanated excellence.
Bye.
Oh, That's Deep, Black Women Conversations is produced by Nicole Lee Plenty and Janine Brunson Johnson. Executive producer, Ken Johnson. Get the Oh, That's Deep Black Women Conversation podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, or where you get your podcasts. Please subscribe and rate us. You can follow Oh, That's Deep Black Women Conversations on IG at Oh, That's Deep BWC. Oh, That's Deep Black Women Conversations is a Mean Old Lion Media production.